Have you ever wondered how to create Power BI dashboard from the scratch? This is the video where you can understand how to create the dashboard by yourself. So I thought of creating the report on Summer Olympics as it's going on, and you can see the history of the number of medals won by various countries. You can see from this kind of report the top level countries. So right now on the number one rank is USA, then we have Russia, then we have Germany, UK, France, Italy. These are very strong countries in terms of Olympics. So we can filter out any particular year over here. You can see if you select here, this is my year, then this is my country, sports, and gender. So if you want to select any particular year, you can see the trend for that particular year. For a particular country, you can do that as well. If you see the season wise medal trend, you can see we have years on x-axis and number of medals on y-axis. So we can have this kind of column chart. Then we have this metrics chart where we have country, number of gold, silver, bronze, and total medals, like this, right? So if you want to have total medals on the basis of age, this is kind of my distribution. So you can see age wise what is my total medals. Similarly, if you want to analyze the trend for the gender, we can have male versus female over here, right? Then we can have player wise analysis, we can have country wise analysis as well. So there are so many other things. I will talk about data modeling, I'll talk about how to create DAX. It will be complete end-to-end project. So let's see the timeline of it, how we are creating it. As we are seeing, this is my data analytics project roadmap, and you will always or mostly follow these kind of phases when you're working in real time on the projects over the clients. So phase one will include understanding the data set, what is my project requirements, then we will define the scope and the outcome of this, right? So once my phase one is completed, once I'm understanding what is my data, what is my scope, and finally what is the end result that I'm expecting, then we will move to phase two. Phase two is the one where we will do all kind of actions. So first of all, we will do data injection, then we will go for data cleaning, and then finally data modeling. So once these three steps are done, where we will use Power Query, we will use data modeling, where we'll start with star schema, and then once this is done, we will go for data visualization. This will be more of using various charts, bar charts, column charts, matrix charts, and various other data cards. Once we are done with our visualization, I'll explain you the techniques of data storytelling, how it is done, so that you can impress your clients. Finally, phase four will include how to upload your project on GitHub. So once you're done with your project, you are supposed to upload on GitHub. You can have your portfolio on that so that you can share that with your recruiters, right? So once you upload on GitHub, you can share it with people on LinkedIn. You can share the link on resume or CV so that you can impress the recruiters. They can understand you already know these techniques. So I'll go through all these aspects in this particular video, and then there is a bonus at the end of this video as well. So let's get started. All right, so in phase one, we will talk about the data. First of all, to do any kind of analysis, we need data, right? So first of all, let's assume we already have this data. So athlete underscore events, this is my CSV file. We have another sheet with NOC underscore regions. In this, I have three columns. First, I'll explain you athlete underscore events because this is the main file. So we have ID column, we have name of the player, the gender, age, height, weight, the team for which he or she plays. NOC is the name of the country, NOC. Then games, so this will give me year and the summers. Then year, season, city where this Olympics happened, the sports name, the event name, and finally the medal. So medal can be bronze, silver, or gold. So we have this data, and if I scroll down, we have more than 2 lakh records. You can see that, right? So how to understand what we have to do here? Like, we have this data, what next? So first of all, we will try to see what kind of analysis we can do, or if we already have the requirement from the stakeholder, you can easily understand, okay, so the person wants to understand which are my top countries, what is the trend year on year. So how we can do that? So if we want to understand which are my top players, what is the reason for them being top? Is it like height or weight analysis, or it's the age? So maybe the age group 20 to 25 gives most of the medals, or maybe a particular sports give me the most medals, or a particular country in a particular city gives me the most medals. So we have to understand the trends. This is why we are doing or using the Power BI, right? And if we talk about NOC underscore regions, so this connects. So we have NOC column in my first table, right? So this will connect with my country or region name exactly, right? So NOC is name of country, AFG, it's a short form, so it is Afghanistan, right? Similarly, ALB is Albania. right? And ANZ is Australia, so it can be Australasia as well. So these are in notes, but generally we'll follow the region, right? So this is about data. And now that we know what kind of analysis we want to do, then we can move to the phase number two, that is importing this data in Power BI. So let's go to phase number two. All right, guys, so step one is to import the data. And currently we are on Power BI desktop. So here on the home button, go to get data, and my file is CSV. So I'll just click on text and CSV, and then select the location where your data is. It's in Summer Olympics dashboard. I'll select athlete underscore events, click open. So it will try to connect the data, and now you have this file, right? So what I can do is I can load it, and it will be loaded on Power BI desktop, or I can transform the data. It will go to Power Query. So let's load it as of now. So now the data is being loading to the model. All right, so we have loaded the data, and I'll also take one more file, CSV file, NOC underscore regions. And this time, let's transform data. So now it will be redirected to Power Query editor, as you can see here, right? So this is my Power Query editor. Now, as you can see here, these are my column headers, NOC, region, notes, but this is coming as my row one. So first of all, I need to use first row as header. So what I'll do is I'll click here and click on use first row as headers, right? What you can do is you can go on home tab, and then you can click use first row as headers from here as well, right? So this is fine. If I go back to my main sheet, that is athlete underscore events, now I have these columns. So my first ask is to delete the columns which are not required or which are not relevant. For example, if we go here towards right and we see games, right? Where is it? Yeah. So if you see games, it is giving me year and the season, which is summers, right? So which is already here as my year and season. So this is quite repetitive. So I don't want this kind of column, right? So what I can do is I can right click and remove. If I scroll from start, I don't want height and weight as of now, so I can delete that. So I'll explain you what's the reason behind it. And if you want to keep it, because generally we remove the columns which are not required so that we can improve the performance, because the storage will be lesser and we have to load less data. So that's the only reason. Otherwise, you can keep all the data for yourself, right? And right now, I won't be doing analysis on city, so I'll be happy to delete that. So remove. So I have removed 3 to 4 columns, so I'm happy with it. Now, one more thing is, if I just open this gender and load more, I can see the females can be denoted as F as well as female, male as well as M. So I want to keep it generic. So what I can do is I can clean this data. I can go back and replace values. I want to replace M with male. But if I do this, what will happen? So if I just open the drop down, and you will see male, which was initially MALE, has become male ALE, right? So this is not correct. So I'll just delete the applied step. And what we have to do instead is right click, same, replace value, replace M with male, but this time go to advanced option, and I have to match entire cell. So I just want to replace M with male, not M in male as male ale, right? So now if I click OK, and if I see on the drop down, so this time you will see male has been cleaned, right? Similarly, go for female, replace values, replace F with female, and in advanced option, match entire cell contents, and click OK. This time it is cleaned for female as well, right? So this is how we have cleaned our sex column. So we don't need to clean anything on player name. Age is fine. You can just see age is there. But if you see, age is my text. Generally age should be whole number, right? So it should be 30, 35, so it will be whole number. So if I click on whole number, this will give me some errors. What are those errors? So if you see, load more, it is, the age is coming from 18 until 57, so this is fine. So if I scroll down and see, there is an error. So this is showing any, right? So there are few records where there is no age and it is showing me any. So before changing the data type, what I can do is I can replace values, replace any with, let's say, 0, or 0 doesn't make sense, so currently we can replace with blank, or generally what we can do is we can replace by the mean of the age, so that it doesn't make a lot of difference, because the blanks are not very much. These are like 15 or 20 out of 200k records, so it won't make any sense. So currently I'm just replacing with the mean, that is 25. Click on OK. So now if you see here, so mostly it is over there. Now I can change to whole number and this won't give me any error, right? So this is sorted, team name is fine. So one more thing, so I want to do analysis on the country, right? So team name won't make any sense. For example, if I filter NOC as India, so you will see there are various options for, oops, okay, so I have to filter out in IND instead of India. So you can see in team names, I can have India, India 1, India 2. So I don't want analysis on the these kind of names, because sometimes they were maybe 30 years back. So India had team name as India 1, India 2. So this is how they played. But I want to do analysis on country level. Similarly, I don't need this column. So what I can do is I can right click and remove this column as well. NOC is name of the country. This is very important. Then we have year, we have season, sport, event, and medal. So far so good. Now one more thing is I want to add the country name over here. So what I can do is maybe I can create a relationship, or I can merge queries. So what I can do is I can click on merge, and from NOC regions I want to merge on the basis of NOC and NOC from athlete underscore events. So I can ignore this. Now I can connect this and we can do left outer, because I want to have all the records from the left hand side table from the athlete underscore events, but only the matching records from the NOC underscore regions, and click OK. So now here it will give me the region as well. I'll just select the region column after expanding and click OK. So now here you will have the country as well, and you can drag this towards your NOC so that it is together. Yeah, and you can change the name of this as, let's say, country. All right. So now the data has been cleaned. I can apply and close and wait for the data to load in Power BI Desktop. So once my data is loaded in Power BI Desktop, then we will start creating the visuals, right? So this is my phase 2 where I am injecting, cleaning the data, and doing some data modeling as well. So let's go to my relationships. Right now, automatically the relationships has been built. If you know the star schema, we always have fact tables in the center. This is athlete underscore event is my fact table, because the new records are coming all over again and again. And the regions can be my dimension table. We have NOC as my primary key, and we have the country descriptions over there, right? So this is created, but as of now we don't require it, because I've already merged the data in my athlete underscore events, right? So we already have this country column. Now we have this data. Let's try to create first visual. In my phase 3 we will do data visualization. So let's go with, let's say, I'll just add the metrics table, drag my country in the rows, and let's say I'll have medals in the column. So currently this is not giving me anything, so I'll just drag medals in values as well, and instead of first medal I'll make it count. Now you can see I have my total medals, but what do you think, this is correct or not? This is absolutely wrong. So you can see count of medal for USA, it is showing me 15,920 for all the years for sure, but this is not correct. Why? Because this is counting everything. This is counting my NAs as well. I have NAs in this, right? So even if you remove NA, let's say if I go here and for this in medals, in filter panel, I just select all and exclude NA. This time I'm having USA as 5,300 total. But again, this is wrong, because for USA, total number of medals is not 5,300, but they have won 5,300. For example, if I select USA, now if you see total medals out apart from NAs, is 5300. You can see 5300 filtered rows. So I have 5300 records for USA, which have either bronze, either silver or gold. But for example, there is one sport, let's say gymnastics, and in gymnastics, or let's say we take 100-meter air rifle. Now this is just unique, so this won't be fine. I want a particular sport or event which is having a multiplayer team, so that let's say if we have an archery, so this archery team in 1996, so this team, they won gold, but there were three players in that team, but country won once only, right? So these three people got gold, but for the country USA, it will be counted as just one gold, right? So we don't want to have repetition. Right now, it is giving me 5,300 gold total medals, but it should be less than that, right? So this is where we have to do calculations. I will create DAX calculation for it, and this is how we can create a correct quantity of number of bronze, number of silvers, gold, and total. So if I go here, what is my unique ID here to get the total medals? Unique would be event, because even if you do on sport, archery can have archery men's team, archery women's team, archery men's in, let's say, 10 meters team or whatever. So what I have to do is I have to create a unique key of event as well as country, or let's say year. So because they can have gold in archery's men's team for 1996 as well as some other years, right? So if we say these 2 years, if instead of bronze, if it was gold, then we want to include gold as one over here, one in this year, right? So we will create one unique key of year and event, right? So once we create the unique key of year and event, then we can create a DAX. Let's see how it will go. So for that, I'll just go to my query, because mostly whenever you want to create new columns, it is preferred to create on Power Query and then load it in your Power BI desktop. So here, to create, first I'll create a duplicate of this and duplicate of year. So if I go here, this is my year, make it duplicate. Now you can merge them, event and year, and right click, merge columns. So I can name this as merge columns, separator can be dash, and press OK. So this will be kind of unique key for me. I can clean this by, where is my cleaning part? Transform and trim it. Even if you have trailing blanks or something, it is important to trim it. Now you can close and apply. And once you're back on your desktop, then we will create our DAX. So we have this column, right? Now, if you see here, this is my unique, right? Archery men's team 1996. This is coming once, this is coming like three times. So this should give me total count as 2. Now in table tools, I'll create new table and just mention this as my underscore measures, and whatever measures I will create, I'll create in this one, and press enter. Now in data tab, you can see underscore measures, click on 3 dots, click on new measure, and let's say this is gold, and equal to calculate. I have to calculate distinct count of my merge column, and I want to filter on the table athlete events, and the expression would be my medal should be equal to gold, right? So if I say do some sorting, so I want to do this, yeah, filter on this, so I have to close the bracket for calculate. So this is why you should always format your DAX so that you can understand where you went wrong. So press enter. So this is my formula for gold. So now if I add gold DAX in this values, let's see what happens. So now this is giving me gold as for USA 1070, whereas previously it was giving me 2585, right? So now this makes more sense. So we will see for other medals. Now if I create new medal, so basically I can just copy what I created for gold, copy this, create new measure, and this time it will be silver, and instead of gold here silver. Press enter, and finally create another measure for bronze medal. This time gold, it will be bronze instead of gold. Press enter, and one more measure we can create as total medals. Total medals equal to gold plus silver plus bronze, and press enter. And now instead of the medal that we had, we will add gold, silver, bronze, and total. So now if you see here, if I sort this on the basis of total medals, USA has got 2653 total medals, Russia has 1645, Germany has 1426, and so on and so forth, right? So now you can have a filter of, let's say, country. You can have another filter of, let's say, year. So now if I want to filter on the basis of, let's say, drop down and let's say last season 2020. So in 2020 USA was the top performer with 109 medals, but if we see on the basis of total golds, so we can sort on the gold. China was number 1 with 38 golds, USA was second with 35, Japan was with 27, UK 22, Australia was with 16 on number 6. So this is how we can see for that particular year. Then we can compare this with the previous year. Then if I go to 2016, I can see who was where, right? So we have done our basic stuff, right? Let's go ahead and create some visuals. So my first visual as depicted in the dashboard was my matrix table for country-wise medals. So this is fine. We will do formatting later on. Now, second one was creating the trend year-wise. So for that, again, I'll have my column chart, and this time I will take year on x-axis, and then medals, total medals on y-axis, and remove the filter on year. So you can see here how my total medal tally has increased or decreased. You can have the gold medal somewhere in the legends, so not from here. This time you can have from the column, and you will see the pattern, right? And if you want to have data labels, you can add, but it won't make much sense because it will be too cluttered. But you can add, right? You can apply on particular level, let's say gold, and then it will show the values. Right now it is not able to show because it's too much, right? And once this is done, once you're happy with it, so I can go here. But if you see in every season, in season 2020, there were 20 total medals was, if I remove, let's say, this medal, total medals were 1899 in 2020. In previous season it was 915. In previous to 2016 was 904. So you can see there is some average, and I can create that constant line. So we can create a measure for it. If I go here, click on new measure, so this time I can create average medals, maybe equal to total count of medals divided by my count of year. So count of year in the athlete events. This time my years will be repetitive. For example, in 2016 it will be so many records. So for that I will take distinct years, right? So if I press enter, this is my average medals, and I can drag this, or I can just go to my analysis tab, go to constant line, click on add line, and go to fx for the dynamic value. Click here, go to average, select the average medals, and click OK. And this is where you will get the line, and you can change the color. Let's say this is a color for total medals by your average, right? So now if you want to create a measure, or let's say you want to create a distribution model for age-wise number of medals, I can again do the column chart, select age from athlete events, select the medals, total medals in the y-axis, age should be in the x-axis, so I can see the distribution like this, right? So now before going ahead, let's try to make it more visually appealing, and let's try with the background. If I go to the background of the canvas, click on browse image, I want to go to the folder where I have this logo. I'll select this and I'll make it fit, and transparency, let's make it 0, let's say, so you can get the background. Now what we have to do is the background of all the visuals should be disabled. If I go to general effects, disable the background, and for this let's make the layout as minimal or maybe none. And for this one, again go to general effects, background as blank. Again for here also disable it. So now making it nicer how we can do it. So here, if we go ahead, I'll create or maybe insert one shape of this style and drag it, and with the style I don't want to fill a lot but make it white, maybe transparency as 50. We can start with 50 and we will tweak it if we don't like it, and go to shape, rounded corners maybe 5 to start with, and I can make it like this. And you can always go to format and send it towards back, to send to back, and this is how it will look like. And similarly I'll copy this format and paste it over here, right? So what I can do is, so first of all let me just make the styling of the page like this, right? And copy paste again. So this is how I will have. And I can make like this, copy paste. I can copy this too and drag it over here. So now we have that kind of template. Now we can use this, or first of all let's select all these visuals and send it towards back. Right, now we have this visual and we can make it smaller to make it fitter over there. I'll just remove the year right now. We can add it later on. I'll remove and add them later on. So I have this, I have total medals by age over here. All right, so we will do more of formatting. You can see the difference. You see this one and see the original one. So you can see the difference, right? So we will try to make this exactly. All right, so for that, I'll just make it more towards here, and let's create one more graph here. We will have the line chart this time. This time we have to make the analysis on the basis of sex. So sex will be in the legend, and I don't want age. I want the year over here on x-axis, so you can see the trend. Right now I can change the color of the lines, and if I go to, let's say, female, let's say I want to go with width as 2 and the color as, let's say, pink. I can have this color. Then if I go back to series male and I want to change it to, let's say, blue color. So this is how you can have the total medal tally on the basis of sex. Right, now I can have another chart here. This time I want to have a table instead of metrics, and I will have the name of the player to start with. Then I will have total medals, and I can have the gender in between so that we can see which gender is getting how many medals. Right, so we have created this. One more chart is remaining, that is map, and I can have the country, location, and I can have total medals in the bubble size so that I can resize it on the basis of total medals 1. Right, and I can remove the title if I want to. So if I can squish it in this, and this is how I have a basic layout with me. Right, so first of all, if you see here, the background logo is overpowering the dashboard. As you see here, it is not, it is quite light. Right, so for that I will go here, and in format shape, transparency can be slightly higher, maybe 60%. I mean, transparency should be low, so maybe somewhere around 20% transparency. And I'll copy the same transparency for my other charts, shapes. So this is coming out to be better. Oops. So all right, so where's my, okay, so this is where it is. Go to transparency, make it 20%, and then select this, go to style, go to transparency 20%. This one is also, I guess, 20%. Yeah, so now everything is done on this part, and let's try to make it more beautiful. So if I go with this, I want to change the colors. If I go here, it is more on the basis of the color of the medal, right? So if I go here, add my medals, and now go to my format your visuals, go to my columns and series bronze. Bronze can be somewhere like this one. Yeah, and if I go to gold, it will be kind of this. If I go to silver, it will be kind of this, right? So this is the one. And if I go to my constant line, I want to change it to, let's say, grayish. Now maybe black. And over here on y-axis, I don't want the title, so I can remove that because it's self-explanatory. Similarly for x-axis, I want to remove the title, and the title for this chart is my bold, and colors what I've taken is gold, not this one. We can take this, let's say, and heading 2, and format can be my Calibria math. The most important part is whatever you are choosing as your font size, colors, it should be aligned or same with other charts as well, right? And if you see here, I have the border size, border color. I don't like this color. So if you see here, the blue colors, I can make it silver or grayish. So this is fine. Again, so you have to change everything at one go instead of doing it again and again. So selecting them, going to style, border, make it gray. All right, so my first chart is done. Let's go with the metrics. So if I see here, if I see the layout, if I go for minimal, for example, I like the minimal, but I'm not sure if I can change the background. So we have to do it like column by column in this. So I will go with the none instead, or default. Yeah, now I have to remove for column headers. First let me make it bold. The colors will be gold, background will be light gold. Now it doesn't look good. White is fine, maybe light of this, what we have actually. Okay, so this is what we are having. So actually we don't need the background for that. So yes, so this is fine. And let's try to increase the font size. So far so good. Now one more thing I want to add here is, currently we have country over here, right, on my row header. So I want to add sports as well. So I can add sports. So this is my matrix, right? So if I add sports here in the row, if I expand USA, so it will give me all the sports here, right? So this is how I can expand till here, or maybe just reduce the font size of it, and then go back till here. All right. So now we have created this. All right, so these two charts are done. For this bit, for this bit, I can do one thing. I can format paint and click here. This is done. Again, format paint, and here it didn't go through. I just click here, format paint. This time it went through, perfect. And for this one, I want to add sex as well. So I'll add sex on the legends part, and this time I'll just copy from here, then this is what it is. Pink color is fine, blue color is fine for male, so far so good. Now I want to change the title color. If I go to title, go to text color, make it this one, make it bold, make it Cambria Math. Here as well, go to font Cambria Math, color as gold, bold, and I don't want the y-axis header title, so I can remove here as well. I can remove here as well. I don't want values, or you can't have values, so that's fine. Remove the x-axis title. Here it is important, or otherwise you won't be able to understand. You can mention on the title, otherwise keep it as it is. Here you can remove it if you want to, but keep it consistent. So I think just keep it everywhere so that you can understand. So we have this thing, we will keep like this. One more big part here, I have the name of the players, but I want to keep top 5 players only. So I'll just select this visual, I'll go to my filters, and in the names I'll do, instead of basic filtering, I'll go to top n. I'll select show me top 5 items on the basis of total medals. So I'll just select total medals here and click apply. Apply is important. If you don't click on apply, it won't be applied and it will be same, right? And then you can wait for it, it will take some time, and then you can work on other stuff till then. Now the big thing is you can also do a conditional formatting. For example, you want to format gold column. Let's say if I go to my specific column as gold, and you want to change the background to, let's say, light gold, so you can do this. If you go to silver and go to background, let's say you want to make it silver like this, you can do. And for bronze, you can change the color as this. So it depends on how you want it. So I want to make it slightly lighter on the note of it, and on the gold I want to make it even lighter. So it depends, you want to make it a lot of colory dashboard, or you want to keep it simple. It's your choice, right? So again, you have to play around with colors. I don't like a lot of colors, it should be very simple. Also, if you see, I'm not able to read it properly. I can see the logo overpowering again. So if I see my dashboard here, it is so clean, I can really read it properly. So for that, just go back and try out and make it more make it less transparent. If you keep it more transparent, it will overshadow, right? And now you can also play around with the style of let's say make it shadow from here, or instead of shadow, make it glowy. So I don't like these colors, maybe go for this, I'm not sure. So you have to see transparency is somewhere around 100 for it. So you have to play around maybe 75% and see. And as you can see, my chart has reduced in the size, right? So what I can do is, again, I can undo it because I don't like this being done. So just play around, and hopefully we'll reach by then. And what else? So now we will go ahead with a very important part, going on with the data cards, going with the filters, and then we will have the dynamic headers. So if I go back, I will add the data cards. So for data cards, we have new data cards. You can see here card new. So I'll select this because we can have multiple cards here. So now for having the cards, first of all, I'll create measures. For example, I want to create total countries. So I'll have total countries equal to count of my NOC in the athlete events. And this time it should be distinct count, right? So I'll use distinct count instead and press enter. So once this is done, we have to create total sports, we have to create total players. So we will go to the measures and create them after this is done. Oh, I hate this when it takes a lot of time to create a basic measure. All right, this is done. So I'll just go here, create new measure, total players equal to distinct count. This time I'll take distinct count of IDs because each player has its distinct ID. So this is what it is. All right, so I just realized there is some issue with the visual below. So if I this one, so I'll just try to change this visual and see how it goes. So let's wait for this measure to be completed, and then we can change this graph. So let's remove it. As of now, let's keep it as it is, and we'll see what's the problem there. And if I go there, we have total countries, total players is fine. So one more measure as total sports. All right, so it's taking time. So once we are done with this, so we will add these data cards: total sports, total countries, total players, gold, silver, bronze, total medals, and then we will add the filters over here. So we will have total sports, yeah. So this will be again distinct count of my sports that are there in athlete events table, and press enter. So now we have these cards. I'll drag all of them over there. So it should start with, let's say, total sports, then total countries, total players, then we have gold, silver, bronze, total medals. We can also have average medals, but right now let's not keep it. Now if you see here, I'm having data like this, but I can change it. So if I go to layout, I want to have single row, I want to have style as cards, I want to show 6, or I have 7, so I will show 7 cards in a row, right? So this is how it is showing me, and I can change the font size. I can change it to 20, and then I just tweak it later on. So if I go to cards, one thing I really like about it is if I go here, I can have the accent bar, right? And position left is fine. I can change it to gold, right? Transparency is fine. Width is 3. And now if I see here, I don't want the background, I'll remove this. And if I go back and see how it looks good, right? So I can shift it down. So just play around with this. You have to make it like this. Yeah, so we have the data cards now, right? Now next thing is to have the filters. So for that, what I did was go to the slicer new or normal. So I'll just go with the normal one. I'll tell you the reason why. So for example, if I want to have ear filter, I will have ear filter like this, right? Now if I want to have the drop down, I won't be able to do drop down in the new one. So I don't have the option of drop down, right? So for that, instead of the new filter, I'll use this one, slicer. So here if I go to settings, and I can have the drop down from here, right? So I'll just keep it here. So originally what I did was I removed the title, right? I removed the background like this, and here I inserted the text box with year mentioned like this, and I dragged it over here, and I can remove the background again. I can increase the font size if you want to, make it 12, or let's say 16. Oops, make it 14, and make it bold, right? And this is how I created originally. And then you can tweak. And if I filter out this time, let's say I want to filter to 2020, my data is changing, right? If I make it 2016, this is what my data is. So I can see the data keeps on changing year on year, so it is working fine. Now I'll have one more filter. This time I'll have country instead of year. I'll have one more filter. This time I'll have sports. So let's say I want to understand how athletics work. I mean, who are winning most in athletics. So I'll just select athletics. And you can see number 1 is USA. I can't see China anywhere, right? China is maybe at 14th or 15th rank. in terms of athletics, right? But if I undo the selection of athletics, China is somewhere around fifth, right? So we can see the domination of a particular sports. Let's say I filter the country India. Again, I want to have search button, so I can select search. I go here, select India, and you can see India have in total won 10 gold medals, 9 silver, 16 bronze, 35 medals total. So I can expand that. I can see 8 golds are there in hockey itself, right? So India is really good in hockey, but overall they have to do really good in other categories. I mean, they are out of 35 total medals are there in hockey, 12 are there in hockey otherwise. Yeah. So if I go back to, let's say, select nothing, and I want to select, there is no cricket, right? So if I select nothing is there, so maybe in particular year in 1900s, you can see in one year 1900 cricket was included in Olympics. So we have 2 medals total, one by UK won gold, France was silver. I can't believe France got silver. France is not a country team like cricket team right now, as we say. So going back, I can see there are total 6,000 roughly golds. I can change the settings here. So if I go to my callout values, if I select gold, I can change this display unit as none, so you can see the change in this, right? Similarly, I can change for all, so you can do it yourself, and this is how you can change the units. And if you want to have the decimal point, you can go to gold and select this comma separation, right? If you select this and see the difference, see you have 5 then comma 500. This makes it easier for anyone to read, right? Similarly, you can go for total players and this bronze, total medals, you can change it. Now the last part of it is dynamic headers. So how to create dynamic headers? So what I want is, so let's say I select year 2012, so this header or text should say the total summer Olympic dashboard for year 2012. If nothing is selected, it should show me the year range for which the data is there, right? So that the user who is understanding or who is trying to understand the data from this dashboard can understand the time period, right? So for that, I'll create one measure. So I'll click on new measure. So this time I'll go for year. So what I can say is dynamic year, and this time I have to do selected value. So what I have to do is I have to do selected value on my year, right? So what I'll do is go for selected value on year. Yes, so I can create this as a variable selected year equal to this. What I want is I want to get results for all the years 1896 until 2020. Else I want results for the year and then and cell year, right? But I want this whenever it is whenever this year is blank. So what I'll do is return is blank year. Oh, so yeah, selected year. So once this is blank, I want this result, otherwise I want this result. All right, so I didn't applied if. So if this is true, then give me this, else give me this, and then you can close the bracket of if over here and make it more indented like this. So this is what it is as my dynamic year. So here now I can insert, let's say, a button or let's say shape, and in the style, in the text, I want to have dynamic text. Here I will select FX, go to dynamic year, click OK, and so currently as you see year 2012 is selected, so result for year 2012. If I select 1900 year result for the year 1900. If I deselect everything, so results for the years 1896 to 2020. So I can just tweak it a little bit. I can give a space over here so as to make it nicer. All right, so yeah, this is also done, and you can change the colors. So once you have changed the colors, and you can add the background. So for the background, what I have done is I have inserted a shape again. So this is how the shape will look like, and then changed the fill of it to something like this. So if you see here, and then I made it at the back. If you go to format, I sent it to back, and if I click anyone, so it will be at the back, and you can select this. I can have one more as this, and this won't be dynamic this time. Go to text, select Summer Olympics dashboard, right? And you can remove the fill, you can increase the size of the text and make it bold, and you can improve as per the requirements. All right, and you can shift it down and make it more visually appealing so that it looks even better. So this is how it will look like. So if I go here, so you understood how to do this part, right? You understood how to create the filters. These are my data cards, and this is my metrics table. Oops. Then we have this column chart we have created. This is my distribution chart for the age, and this is my line chart for the year versus total medals for male and female. This is my player wise analysis. This is my geography. One more thing which is remaining is tooltip. So if you want to hover here and see the tooltip, I'll just go back, and if I hover here, it should give me a nice looking tooltip. So I can click on new page, and I can go here, make it settings as type as tooltip. Now this is like a tooltip, and here I can go back, just copy one chart for the format. I'll just copy this and paste it over here and bring it inside the tooltip, and expand this like this. Now I want a bar chart, and I want to have sports in my y-axis. Where's my sports? And yeah, I want total sports. Maybe I can have medals here, and this is how it looks like. Now if I go here on page 2, select this, go to my visual formatting settings. If you're not able to search or find the tooltip, just select search tooltip, and this is where it is. You just toggle it on, go to options, type, and I'm not able to see the page over here. So what's the reason behind it? If you see here, this is my tooltip, this is my page 1, and just name it as tooltip for the countries, and this is my page 2. This is my page 2 for this visual. Go to tooltip, and I should get the tooltip over here. If I go back again, let's try it once again. Oh, so we have to go to page, right? So I was missing that part. So if you go to page and select tooltip countries, and now if you hover it over here, so you can easily see France, they got total medals as 242 in gold. But what is the difference? Like they got golds in fencing, cycling, athletics, judo, swimming, equestrian, however we pronounce that. So instead of doing expanding on this and going forward, you can do this as well, and you can change the data. I mean, you can also have something else inside the tooltip. For example, you want to have the player name, so instead of having the sports names, you can have the player name, and this is how it will look very nice. All right, so now that we have understood all the parts of it, um, we have understood dynamic text, we have understood the filters, we have understood data cards, metrics tables, slicers, we have understood line charts, we have understood tooltips. Now we are done with the dashboard part, right? So you can easily change it. If you're getting stuck somewhere, just let me know. You can mail me, you can just comment below, and I can help you, assist you with wherever you get stuck. Now, once you are done with your report, so what next? So as I explained you initially, that we have to complete the report. Once the report is done, we will publish it on GitHub. But before that, let me try to understand, give you a glimpse of how the final dashboard will look like and how to give a storytelling on it. So if I just go back to my dashboard and show you what I was doing previously. So let me just minimize that. So now how you will do the storytelling. So what I can understand from this is it will always be the approach from left to right. So what you will do is you go from left side to right hand side, right? So you will say, hey, this is the Summer Olympics dashboard, the results for all the years from 1986 until 2020, which was the previous season. So if we say there are total sports as 70, total countries participated all across the seasons is 151, total players played is 26,804, total golds ever got is 5500, silvers are 5460, bronze 5406, and in total we have received medals as 1636. If we talk about the in total, USA is number 1 with total medals as 2653, Russia is number 2 with 1645, and Germany with 1426 on number 3. If we talk about a particular year, so if I go to a particular year, let's say 2020, I can say that USA was number 1 with 109 medals. But if we talk about the ranking on the basis of gold medals, then I can sort this on the basis of gold. China is number 1 with USA second, Japan third, UK fourth, Russia fifth, and Australia as number 6. So we can say after this, total number of medals in 2020 is 899. Total bronze is 300, silver is 299, and gold is 300. Total number of players participated was 2,220. Total sports played in the last season was 46. Now, if I want to do the analysis on a particular sport, I can say archery. In archery last season, there were total countries participated in archery was 9. Total players were 25, and gold total golds were 5, silver 5, bronze 5, of course, right? So it will always remain the same for a particular sport. Now, if we see, South Korea is number 1 with 4 golds, you can see. Turkey is on second with 1 gold, and we can see this is archery as well, right? So we can see the player names over here. So if I select Turkey, so the player name was Gazos Mete. He's a male. So this is how we can do analysis. If I go back, now if I want to do analysis on, let's say, badminton. In badminton, China is number 1 with 2 golds, Denmark second, Indonesia third, Taiwan is fourth, India is number 5th with just 1 bronze medal, and we can see who won the bronze medal. It was PV Sindhu. And now if we want to do analysis on the gender, so I can unselect everything else, just year 2020, and gender is male. And if I select everything for male, USA is number 1, Russia is number 2, Germany is number 3. We can see the trend is almost same. If I see female, so first 3-4 countries will remain the same. I think Romania came on 7th. Initially it was 8th or 9th. You can see the difference. And we can see for female, it started with 2012 to get a good amount of bronze or like medals. Or there is some kind of filter. All right, so I can see there is some kind of filter. So yeah, so you can see here, right? So there was some kind of filter applied. So again, if I go to female, and you can see the trend, so I can see the chart, this one. So if I see this chart, so you can see the trend, it is going up, and it is getting significant around 2000 year, right? So it is going up from here. So if we see this same trend for the male, it was always like this from 1950s. So you can see how female trend have changed over last 20-25 years, right? And same we can see the trajectory over here as well. So if we see from 1900, males were predominantly dominating the sports until 2000, right? From 2000, women got closer towards men, and in 2020, you can see it's almost the same. The number of medals won by female versus male. So number of medals won by male was 482, female was 451. So just the matter of 30 odd medals, and it's almost the same. So you can see the trend how it got shifted towards female, right? Similarly, we can see the trend on the map, number of medals won by a particular country. You can see the bigger size circles towards North America, that is USA. Then we can see mostly towards Europe. We can see this is Russia, China, Australia, Japan, and somewhat in Brazil in South America. So you can see the heat map kind of thing to analyze. We can see some medals in Iceland as well. And yeah, India got total 35 medals, which is centrally there. And then we have 10 medals in Pakistan. We have 38 in Uzbekistan, 78 Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is doing really good. 108 by Turkey, South Korea 283 medals. So this is great. So this is how you can do analysis and see how the trends are shifting. So if I, let's say, want to see for India, and you can see predominantly over the last 3-4 seasons, India has done comparatively better as compared to other seasons, because otherwise it was just 1 or 2 medals, and last 3-4 seasons they are getting 5 or 6 medals at least, right? So if we go for country Australia, you can see the trend over the last 6-7 seasons. For last 20 years, Australia is doing really good. There was time in 2000, so they were getting a lot of medals, somewhere around 50-60 medals in one season, and 2020 was somewhat average for them, but it was not bad actually, because Australia is always in top 10 when we talk about Olympics. So in 2020 they got somewhere around what, 50 odd medals, and here we can have a tool tip to get the total medals to understand, right? This is how the storytelling will be better. And we can see in Australia, number one sport is swimming. Swimming gave them 221 medals out of 563. So it is quite dominating. So if you remove swimming and athletics, it's quite less, you know. So for them, swimming, athletics, cycling, rowing, sailing, these are top sports. Even shooting with 11 medals. Hockey is there, canoeing, diving, archery, somewhat couple of them, and then there are other sports with 1 or 2 odd medals. Basketball is also there with 6 medals, but they never won the gold in basketball, so that's why it's almost at the bottom, right? So overall, Australia is doing really good. If we see China, which is number one generally, and US as well. So in China, you can see the number one sport is diving. All right, this is strange. I thought it would be somewhat table tennis or gymnastics, but diving is number one sports. So this is the benefit of dashboarding, right? So you can understand the patterns, you can see the trends. If you want to have a guess for Germany, so Germany is doing really good. It's in top 3 with 1426 total medals. What can be the number one sport for Germany? It is athletics. Number 2 is rowing with 123 medals. This is amazing. So yeah, so I mean, this is how we can do the storytelling. All right, so now we have reached to our phase 4, that is the last phase. Here I will explain you how to upload your project on GitHub. So first of all, you have to sign in the GitHub. So I'll click on GitHub. You can easily get GitHub link. And once you log in using your email ID and other credentials, then you will have this option as top repositories for your particular ownership. So this is my ownership. So I'll select this one. On top repositories, I'll just click on new. So let's say this time, again, I'll just select my name, and this is the ownership, and repository name for this can be, let's say, Olympics Trend Analysis. And you want to mention more, you can, but this is sufficient. Description can be, this is the Summer Olympics dashboard project. Here we have used Power BI to create the visuals and understand the trends to make the data driven decisions. You can make it public so that you can show it to the people. It's highly recommended to have a add me like readme file so that you can describe about it, and you don't need to write like if you want to go for version controlling, then this is important, but right now this is you can ignore this, and no licenses required for this, and default branches main. So keep it as it is, keep it simple. You don't have to learn a lot about Git. So whatever I'm explaining you right now is sufficient. Just create repository. So your repository is created. Now if you see here, there is a readme file. You can click on this pencil and you can edit this one. So you can add it, you can create the comments and write everything about this document, right? And click on commit changes. So this is the commit message that you have updated the readme, and you can extend your description as well, right? So click on commit changes. Now you want to add your data, whatever you have created, right? So what you have to do is, so now you have to go back to your repository, and from here you can see add file. Click on upload files. So if you click on upload files, you can choose from the desktop or wherever you feel like, and if you go to documents, I have my folder there. So if I go to my Summer Olympics, I have this data, I have this data, I have my dashboard like this one, and click open. So I can choose this one. Okay, so you can see this file should be smaller than 25 MB. So my file has increased. So what you can do is, this is currently 4 MB, right? Yeah, so that's fine. I mean, the bigger size is the athlete underscore events. So you can reduce that size, or right now I'm just selecting this one and this one, right? So once you select, you will upload your PBIX file and other files. So in case your file size is greater than 25 MB, you can make it smaller, or you can zip it and then upload, and you can add the comments and have the commit changes. Once the files are processed, it will be shown over here, right? Also, you can add what you have understood from this project, what you have done, what are the tools you used, how much time it took you, what are the trends, how it benefited anyone. So you can add all those things so that anyone who is seeing your project can understand that. So this is how you will upload the project on GitHub, and this is the link of the GitHub. You can open your LinkedIn. Let's say if I open the LinkedIn account, I'm not sure if I have logged in over here. Yeah, I have not logged in. So once you log in, and you can post it, and you can use this link. So just do Control C and then Control V in the post, and this is how you can post your project and showcase to the world, right? So this is one part. Second is, if you want to showcase or add this project on your resume. So again, you can add this link in your resume and then describe what this project is doing, so that person who is viewing your resume, mostly it is on laptop, so he or she can click on that link and see what's there, right? You can have a small video as well, 30-second video of what you have done, so that it will be more impactful. So what I would suggest is, the next step should be, go to LinkedIn. First of all, create your 30-second video, and then go to LinkedIn, add that video, add the link of your project, and then mention, hey, this is Summer Olympics dashboard I have created. You can see the trend. You can explain the outcomes of it, like Australia is in top 6 or 7, USA is almost on the top, with China as well. India has 30 odd medals so far, and this is how, I mean, give the snippets of what is expected, right? So this is how the end-to-end project will look like while you're working as a data analyst on Power BI reports. I hope you liked this kind of project. So if you want more such projects, please comment below. Let me know what you liked about it. I can create more videos. I can create more complex videos on using Power Query cleaning part. I can use more of DAX part. This was predominantly easier with the beginners in the mindset. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching this video.